it's Amanda. I'm just checking in today. I have been tagged in the Get to Know Me challenge by A Foxy Mess. Chris had uploaded her video, I believe yesterday. Well, that's at least when I watched it. And she had tagged me in it to respond to the challenge and answer the 20 questions as well. So without ado, let's get started. So the first question is, I have them written down here just because I'm filming with my phone, so I can't really use my phone to go back and forth. But the first question is, what does your name mean? So I'm not sure if that means my real name or my channel name, so I will answer both. My real name, Amanda, as you know, means beloved or lovable. I've seen either definition, but that's generally what it means. And then my channel name, Discovering 40, is actually, I chose that name because the channel is about trying new things and rediscovering myself after the age of 40 and becoming an empty nester and devoting my life to raising children, or in my case a child, and then having to discover who exactly am I. I've kind of lost sight of that because I was a young mom, became a mom at the age of 20, so I really lost myself for the last how many years. So so that's basically what my channel name means and what it's about. So question number 2, where are you from? As I have mentioned in earlier videos, I am from Southwest Washington State. That is where I consider my home to be, although I have lived in quite a few places and regions. That is where I consider to be my home and where I am from. A lot of times I will tell people I'm from Seattle just because it's easier than saying a small town and then they have no clue what that is because they've never been there. So I'll often say Seattle, but I am actually from a small town in Southwest Washington State called Longview. Number 3, where were you born? So I was born in Northern California in a town called Redding. It is famous for 2 things. It's located close to Shasta Lake, which is famous for the Pamela and Tommy Lee sex tape. And the second thing it's famous for is forest fires. More notably, a year ago, there was a huge forest fire that went up into the city limits. So that's where I was born. So number 4, what would my parents have named me had I been born a different gender? So I actually don't know the answer to that. What I do know is that my mother at one point had contemplated naming me Amy, which I apologize to any Amy's out there, but I really don't like that name. So I'm glad that she chose the name I have. And my middle name, which I'm not going to disclose, I apologize, but my middle name was almost Lynn, so I would have been Amanda Lynn. Which I guess, I mean, I'm a musician, so I guess that would be somewhat appropriate, but I'm actually kind of glad so that I didn't have to deal with that joke my entire life. Number 5, what was my biggest accomplishment? So I would say my biggest accomplishment has been seeing my daughter graduate high school and college. And I had, let's just say I've had a difficult school career myself. And my family, I didn't come from a family that really emphasized education. For various reasons I won't get into today. They didn't put an emphasis on education, and so that was something I was always very adamant that my child would. My child would at least appreciate education and what education could give her, the opportunities it could open up for her. So I would say my biggest accomplishment was actually seeing my daughter graduate both high school and college. Number 6, what is my eye color? Well, I don't wear colored contacts. I rarely wear contacts because my eyes are sensitive. So as you can see, they are a lovely shit brown.
Sometimes, depending on my mood, they will change color. They will change color in the sunlight as well. So sometimes they'll be a little bit hazily, maybe a little bit of green in there, but in general, they're just brown. Number 7, what is my favorite candle scent? Well, I think I have mentioned before on the channel that I have a fragrance allergy. And because of that fragrance allergy, I do love candles, but have to be extremely careful with the scents I choose. So I tend to stick with what I have dubbed cooking smells. So things like vanilla and apple and cinnamon, and I can even go with like the Christmas smells, like a fir, like piney smells, bay, those kind of Christmassy smells I can do. I also, that candle right there, I did an unboxing of that candle earlier this year, and it's a coconut smell. So I really, really enjoyed that candle. It's all spent now. It's just an empty glass sitting there. So I need to get another coconut candle, but I enjoyed that one as well. But as far as my favorites, I would say it is a tie between vanilla and cinnamon. Number 8, can I cook? Yes, and very, very well. I'm a very good cook. I was raised by a chef, and interesting enough, I didn't learn to cook by using recipes. My mother didn't cook that way either. She eyeballed everything. She rarely had a recipe. And that's how I cook too. And I find that it allows your imagination to take off and inspire you, and you come out with some of the most delicious meals that way. However, the downside of that is you can never recreate it twice. So, but as good as of a cook I am, I'm an even better baker. And one direction I was thinking about doing an offshoot on this channel where I guide people through sourdough baking, because I am a sourdough baker, and I cultivate my own wild yeast and grow and ferment it and grow it, and that's what I use to raise bread instead of commercial yeast. So I was thinking about doing a few tutorials on helping people how to cultivate their own yeast, and a few basic bread recipes and whatnot. So yes, I am a very, very good cook. So number 9, what is good about my life right now? Well, I mean, I have a roof over my head, and I have the love of a sweet, sweet coonhound that is cuddled up on the sofa right now next to me. And you can't really ask for much more than that. I'm just grateful for what I do have in life, and not expecting anything more than that. Number 10 is a cliche. What's your sign? Okay, so I am a Taurus, and I am very much a Taurus. I am very stubborn and bullheaded, and but I'm also grounded and down to earth, and in touch with the earth and in tune with it. So yeah, I am very much so a Taurus. Number 11, what scares you about aging? I don't have any fear of aging, although I do dye my hair and sometimes, play with the makeup and whatnot. I really don't fear aging. I'm not afraid of wrinkles or sagging, because it's already happening. So, but what I do fear is, and it's not necessarily age related, but I do have a fear of dying alone. But as far as the aging process, no, I'm not afraid of that. Number 12, what is my favorite holiday? Well, although I live in the Great White North these days, my favorite holiday still is U.S. Independence Day, or more commonly known as 4th of July. It is my Christmas, and I am a pyromaniac by nature. I love fireworks. When I did live in Washington, we'd drive to the Indian reservations and purchase just paper bags, like grocery bags, just filled with fireworks, and not firecrackers and things. We're talking mortars that would go up to the sky and go boom. And I'd come home with 2 grocery bags filled with them for like $80. And I do this every single year. And every single year, we always had the best fireworks in our neighborhood. And we also lived walking distance from a park in our city that put on an actual publicly funded fireworks display. And they had a party down there they called Go Forth. And they had beautiful, beautiful fireworks displays. So between mine at home and then the park a few blocks away, yeah, I love the 4th of July. We'd go down to the park and we'd camp out all day the day of the display. And they have vendors down there and whatnot, but we'd pack picnics and everybody just hang out on their blankets. And you run in a small town, you know, population 40,000, you'd run into people that you knew and you'd hang out and the kids would take off together, and it was just a lot of fun. So yeah, US Independence Day, even though I live in Canada, is still my favorite holiday. Number 13, what is my guilty pleasure? Well, as I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a coffeeholic. Hello, my name's Amanda. I'm a coffeeholic. But my guilty pleasure is I drink my coffee with heavy cream. And it's just one of those things, you know, I watch what I eat. I don't eat a lot of sweets. I don't even eat, usually I eat maybe twice a day, and not a lot at that. But I do enjoy my cream in my coffee, and that's something that I can't see changing, because I just, you know, I sacrifice a lot with my diet. I'm at least having the cream in my coffee. Also, for a special treat every now and then, I will use tequila rose or Bailey's as coffee creamer. So instead of having the heavy cream, I'll add the tequila rose or the Bailey's. Either one of them are very, very good. But you have to make sure it's a strong cup of coffee, because the flavors just mix with that strong coffee. It's just amazing. So yeah, so that's my guilty pleasure. Number 14, current show I'm binge watching. So I am not currently binge watching a show. However, I just finished binge watching a show on Netflix called The Politician, which is a dark comedy, which is one of my favorite genres. And it has Gwyneth Paltrow in it and a few other very notable people. However, it's not about them. It's about this high school election process, and it's very dark. Like I said, it's a dark comedy, and there's some interesting things that happen throughout the series. So I highly recommend it. If you haven't watched it, it's great. Number 15, what item can't I leave the house without? Well, it's kind of a no-brainer. Keys. Number 16, morning person or night owl? I would have to say that I'm a bit of both, depending on my mood and my need for sleep. But I do get up early, as I have a dog that has bladder needs. And I do tend to stay up late. I don't require a lot of sleep. I typically can function between 6 and 8 hours of sleep, no more, no less. So I do get adequate sleep. But yeah, I would say I'm both. I really, really enjoy a day when I've gotten up before the sun and gotten my coffee and maybe have gone out doing something, and then you get to see the sunrise, and I really enjoy that. I also really enjoy in the summer when it's warm and it's light later, and you know, sometimes I won't even get to bed till 2 or 3 in the morning in the summer. So I would say I'm a bit of both. I enjoy both of those. Number 17 is favorite genre of movie. So I would say my favorite genre of movie would be espionage movies or political thrillers. Those are my favorite genre. Number 18, last thing I bought. Well, I haven't bought anything in a few days, actually. The last thing I spent money on was a beer on Sunday watching the Seahawks win. Number 19, am I an introvert or an extrovert? Well, this surprises a lot of people who know me. However, if it surprises them, they don't know me that well, because I am surprisingly an introvert. I have social anxiety like crazy. That is part of one of the reasons I am even doing the YouTube channel.
breaking out of my shell. Like I explained earlier, the channel is about trying new things, making myself uncomfortable. And this is one of those things. I am an introvert. I'm one of those introverts that can put on a front. I can put on an act in public and be very social, but what you don't see is on the inside, I'm dying. I'm dying. I would rather be anywhere but in public. So yeah, I'm very much an introvert. I just hide it well. And last but not least, number 20, what is my favorite book? Well, my favorite book is called Red Sky at Morning. It was written by Richard Bradford and published in 1968. It is a coming-of-age story about a military brat who moves to a new town and has to make new friends. And it makes you cry and it makes you laugh hysterically. And it's just an all-around excellent book, and I highly recommend it. So those were the 20 questions about me. I hope you've learned something new or interesting about myself. If not, I apologize. I've never claimed to have a very interesting life. But now I'm going to throw the gauntlet down, and I am going to tag Gorl Comics to do the challenge as well. And I'm also going to tag SuchAsLife X to do the challenge as well. I looked through their videos and I didn't see that they've been tagged yet, so tag, you're it. And until next time, thanks for joining me, guys. This was fun. Thanks, Chris, over at Foxy Mess. This was fun to do. I do like these things every now and then. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.